Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Now, last time we spoke was just before the election, and it was all going on. We were at Eden
you were
Park.
so cynical, and I was telling you what's going to happen, and it happened.
The last time we spoke, we were at Eden Park, and David Seymour had put up billboards dissing you. You said he'd just discovered his Māoriness like Columbus had discovered New Zealand.
America.
America. Oh, God, that's right. And the Prime Minister claimed he didn't know anything about you.
Yes.
We're halfway through. You seem to be all tight. What is one word you would use to describe the term up until now?
You mean the last few months in government?
Yeah.
Well, coalitions are always difficult, extraordinarily difficult. They're hard work. But if I was to extrapolate New Zealand's hardcore politics people from the general population, about 60% of the country actually just want stability. They just want to know that they've got a stable government so they can get on with their very busy lives. New Zealand's worked the second longest hours in the OECD. And they expect the politicians to get out of their way and give them some help.
That is not one word.
What did you say? You wanted one word to describe it?
One word. One word to describe.
Well, we don't do one-worders. One-worders are for cartoons.
Stable, was that the word?
No, I just was saying to you it's complex and hard, but we have done our best to ensure that the government is stable. And I suppose a lot of people have had a chance to reflect upon their pre-elections views and their likes and dislikes. You might say they've had a chance to learn about their mistakes.
So Deputy Prime Minister for 18 months, 54 days as Acting Prime Minister. Any big challenges?
No.
So you handed the baton over to the current Deputy Prime Minister, who said he didn't seek advice from you, nor did you provide any advice to him. What does that actually mean?
It means exactly that.
Do you talk?
Yes. Well, why do you extrapolate a simple answer over there to being something heinously elsewhere when what's the important impute of what you're saying?
I'll just ask
He didn't seek my advice and I didn't give it to him, yes, because I don't give people advice that don't want it.
So some are saying that you took the Deputy Prime Minister role at the start to free you up for campaigning.
Well, there's a whole lot of some people out there give you all this sort of assessment. I'm afraid I've been in the game just too long to have them making mindless speculations about what we've done and how we strategized for this period of coalition. Yes, I've done all that, but our party is focused on the future. We're on a mission.
I know.
To get this country right.
Okay, so the mission is starting now, right? You're in campaign
Well,
mode.
that's part of the mission, but our mission is heightened, as important as it ever was. We set out on a mission when we got wrongly expelled from Parliament back in 2020 with a tissue of lies from the Serious Fraud Office. We beat them three times in court. They cost the taxpayer $4.2 million. It cost me and others hundreds of thousands of dollars to defend ourselves. And we're back. And we're not going to forget this experience. And so, as I say, we're on a mission to ensure that the changes we are seeking to make and the improvements we're seeking to make are bedded in and they last and turn this country around.
So that's what I'm saying. You're in campaign mode now. I've seen Shane across Facebook with a megaphone, like he actually needs it. And that's a very clever thing to do, your Deputy Prime Ministership at the start, eh? Frees you up a little bit more?
Yes.
Yeah.
How come it took you, all you journalists, so long to learn what's going on? I mean, we made that decision and announced it in November of 2023.
Yeah, I know, but
it's July 22nd now.
I'm just saying how clever it was.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Why are you so surprised?
Oh, I don't know. In our last interview, we got an understanding of what you're against. I'm just curious, just to be clear, if all your dreams came true, what do you actually stand for? What would New Zealand look like?
We started this party on 15 founding principles. They are fundamental as they back then as they are today. And they were based on a party that is nationalistic, believes in our country, puts New Zealand first, and ensures we don't have global influences ruining the economic and social life of this country and the security of our country. That's what stands us and departs us from the rest of the political parties, because they're globalists and we're not. So what do we stand for? We stand for one country, one people, one nation, one flag. One rule of law, one system of politics, one party alone stands for that. And you're looking at it.
So, putting our country and our people first,
Yes.
right? Again, that's what's on your website. So, when was that time when that happened? I mean, you've been in Parliament for 37 plus years. Can you point to a time when it was like at the apex, what you know, in terms of what you believed? The reference point?
Well, no, I look back at my young time in politics and I was watching back then this country changing, finding it very difficult to understand why it was changing. And I'll tell you why I say that. Because I look at the Labour Party today and I can't recognise them from the party I once used to read about and study. And I look at the National Party and I have similar views. I can't recognise them from the party that I once studied and learnt about. I also had the great benefit of being close to Māori politics, which is a different theatre, but there are more fundamental lessons in Māori politics than people realise, just how critical it is. And so I was a lucky person in that sense.
Minister of Foreign Affairs, 3 times, highly respected, praised by various prime ministers in your role. It's a very tough geopolitical time. Would this be the toughest time that you've been operating in that role?
It's the toughest for all of us. It's the toughest time in the last 80 years. It just means that all your conversations now are much more real. They're much more intense. They're much more serious. And the consequences could be far more dire if we get it wrong. That's why we've used all of our experience to, you know, particularly when I'm talking to my colleagues, to say to them, just don't think out loud. There are consequences to what you say if you say the wrong thing.
Who are you talking about?
Well, I'm talking about my colleagues. I'm talking about everybody that's engaged internationally now. You're out there representing a country in a very difficult circumstance, so be very cautious what you say.
Last week I was on Rainbow Warrior 3 for the commemoration of the bombing, and I guess it was a moment where we look back at New Zealand, and I just wonder, have we lost our mojo, our principled edge, do you think? Because we stood up.
That's not what happened.
In 1984?
Pre-air Māwhā got sent out to Howe Island. What sort of prison is this? They come out of a New Zealand prison and they're spending the rest of their time on Howe Island in the Pacific. Do you think that's a prison? No, because we got heavied.
Longy challenged the States and France around the nuclear events.
Longy got hijacked by his party. He went in to talk about nuclear weaponry, ended up talking about nuclear power. That's the reality. Longy got hijacked. I mean, he told people like Schultz, don't worry, I can settle this matter. But they'd so lost their head in the Labour Party caucus and cabinet at that point in time, it was too late. So we had total nuclear, not weapons, but nuclear power as well. All the rest of the world's been living on nuclear power and carrying on, but we were against it, even though we had nuclear capacity in our hospitals. It was critical to our medicine.
So, I'm just wondering, with China making concerted efforts in terms of reaching out for multilateral relationships, and it is our biggest trading partner, US is kind of retreating, it's criticising bodies and institutions like the ICJ, ICC, UN, NATO, etc. And we are poised for tariff attacks. Are there basic principles that guide New Zealand as a small country with little leverage in terms of navigating that?
Who wrote that question?
I thought it was quite a good one.
That's one extraordinary long question. Could be on here for 3 months.
But isn't it a good one?
The answer, but here's the truth.
But are there principles?
But here's the first thing. The United States is a democracy. The White House and the Congress are responsible to the American people. If they want to change their tariff regime, that's their business. Now you're sitting out here and whinging and whining about the democratic process of another country. Our job is to be smart and get in front of it. And we have. We got the lowest tariff of any country at this point in time. And our job is to stay there or get even better. As it stands now, a lot of our competitors have got 25, 35%. We're on 10. Now, let's be very careful here. The second thing is that the Trump record in his first administration was to be more engaged in the Pacific than any previous administration. So we're not without hope here. But what we've got to do is understand how we can get their re-engagement. And that's what we're working on, big time.
So my question was, what are the principles that you base the navigation between American first and these kind of international relationships and institutions. What guides you?
Well, the fundamental principle is that we believe small states matter. Small countries matter. We don't look down on small populations, and we don't unduly look up on big populations. We think all countries should be treated equally. That's what the United Nations first started that way, and with all mistakes and errors that the United Nations make, they're not beyond being fixed, and that's why we're working, and we've made speeches on there how they need to make reforms. But we're saying, whether it's the United States or whether it's China, we have a relationship where surely we can disagree and say so when we do. And we do.
So the Minister of Defence spoke recently at a graduation and said we may be a small country, we're a principled one, we stand for peace, for cooperation and protection of those who cannot protect themselves. Do you agree with that?
Yes. Well, sometimes in my career, we've been in 21 theatres around the world trying to keep the peace. 21 separate theatres. This country's got a magnificent record of standing up, and I just wish, though, that some people would understand what the cost of that is and what the value of that is. They would have us stay here, pull a carpet up over our heads and say, don't want to be part of the world. How long economically would we last then? We'd be broke within 5 seconds.
So the inference from Judith Collins was that these new graduates might be gearing up to fight. So who would they be fighting?
Oh, look, everyone seeks to have a defence force ever since the cavemen got together with cave women and realised we can't go out and harness the paddocks if we've got to defend the cave, so we'll get a policeman to do that. This policeman is all those thousands and millions of years of development. We've always needed a thing called security, but you hope never to have to use it. But I can guarantee you when you will need it is when you haven't got it. So we're just getting ready.
Who are we gearing up to fight?
Peace hasn't broken out on earth. And so the point is, as we have said, as Churchill said, it's better jaw than war. But nevertheless, he was also the architect of getting ready so it would deter aggression, would it deter attacks, would it deter invasions. The only reason why certain countries invade is because they can get away with it. They don't if they know they won't.
Who's going to invade us?
Oh, listen, have a look at history. All down through the...
Oh, hang on, the British did that ages ago.
No. Yeah, well, what of course the British did. Just like the Māori. Just like the Māori did. Just like they did all through Polynesia, just like your elders did, just like your iwi did in your ancestry. We all got records here. So let's not have anybody saying that they're pure as a driven snow here.
It's just that some of us are a bit confused because you've got China as their big trading partner. You've got America kind of going, oh, watch out for China. I mean, I just don't understand how our biggest trading partner could also be seen as one of our biggest concerns security-wise.
Well, that's your researchers and analysis of history. It's not mine. Then again, some of us said in 1996 that we come from China. Everybody laughed at me, didn't they?
New Zealand has joined 27 other countries to call for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. Otherwise, it might take further action, this collective of countries. Israel says the statement is disconnected from reality. What might that further action look like?
Well, the statement is not disconnected from reality in this context. The first thing we do, and in my statement to the House today, is refer to the atrocities of October 7th and the taking of hostages, which still haven't been given back. Despite 1,200 people being murdered, hundreds were taken hostages, and there's still countless hostages that we don't know whether they're alive or not, but haven't been given back. This is outrageous, and you look at the circumstances. Hiding behind, as they are, Hamas, this terrorist organisation, the many innocent people in Palestine. So it's extraordinarily complicated.
It's not that complicated, really, when you look at how many thousands of Palestinians have been killed. So you condemn Hamas for its terrorist actions on the 7th, rightly so, but why have you not condemned Israel for its violence against Palestinians prior to and beyond October 7?
Oh, you don't understand the recent history of the Palestine area then. You go back and follow the recent history. It's not the analysis that you just put out there. Oh, no, it's not. I can only go back 35 years and show you when these developments had no chance of happening, But the establishment of an independent Palestinian Authority without the influence of terrorists has always been a major threat. Those are the facts.
Why aren't you consistent in calling out Israel?
But we have. We've called out Israel countless times. We've told them to their face. We went to the United Nations and said it. Right as the speech before their representative was getting up there, I spoke before him and said that. Now, it's not that clear, but this idea that somehow you can say something dramatic and it'll happen when we haven't got a hope in Hades of making a change without the great concert and agreement of others is just nebulous politics.
I don't understand what the point of saying a statement is, though, if you can't back it up by action. What action could we take? What would be the further action that is on the table?
Only one thing will bring this to a conclusion in its international pressure for both sides. And it's the same way that eventually and very quickly, international pressure coming from one source in particular, the United States, stopped the Israeli-Iran conflict recently. We sent a whole military exercise across there and a whole lot of hundreds of people were involved to try and get our people out, only to find the war was over by the time we got there. But we still made the effort. You see what I mean?
Why can't you call out Israel for its war crimes in terms of mass starvation?
Oh, now here you go and you say it's a war crime. This matters before an international court. The adjudication hasn't happened, but you found the result already, and you're not a judge.
Don't you think so?
No, you're not a jurist. You're not a judge. My point is, this is yet to be analysed by an international court and decided that way. But having gone there, you think, forget their finding, forget the hearing, we'll just come to the conclusion now. That's not the way international politics works. That's not the way respectable law works either.
What is going to make a difference? We have.
Well, the facts will make a difference.
You could, as Francesca Albanese suggested, impose sanctions on Israeli goods. We could close down the Israeli embassy. We could stop those special visas for members of the IDF that are coming here for a holiday.
So it would make you feel good if we closed down the Israeli embassy and we're no longer talking to them.
I'm just wanting clarification.
What exactly would it do? Would it help at all when you need people to talk to? And we've got the Russian embassy. We've got everybody else here, even in the middle of the Ukraine, their invasion of Ukraine. Why? It's better to be able to talk to people.
But what are the further actions?
No conversation.
What are the actions?
What do you mean, what are the actions?
Because in the statement, it made it very clear.
No, you and your like-minded people can't suggest one compelling thing that will change the outcome. But you keep on spouting it out because you don't understand the difficulty, the complexity of international engagement.
What is so difficult? There's thousands of people starving over there, forced displacement.
Well, I'm fully aware of that.
Difficult?
I'm fully aware of that. But have you spoken to the Egyptians? I have. No, you all stop. Have you spoken to the Palestinian Authority? No, none of you have. I have. Have you spoken to the people, that biggest Muslim country in the world in one place, namely Indonesia? No, but I have, not once, 5 times. I've spoken all around the world, talked to all sorts of people about it. And so they understand the difficulty. Excepting here, we got these untrammeled experts with no information who think that their view is more valuable than, for example, the Palestinian Authority. When I say to the Palestinian Authority, our difficulty in recognising you is, we say that we want you to be in charge of a Palestinian state. But can you understand that we want to see how you're going to establish that? And the moment you can show us that, with the authority of your people, we've achieved it. Now, we're not letting our standards down in recognising of statehood. But I'm dealing with 4-flushers, sometimes in this parliament, who think that their opinion, without any facts, without any engagement, without any conversation with all the people involved, is more important than one that's been grinding out with the hard work from the department called Foreign Affairs.
I don't understand what the actions are going to be. There's thousands of people dying.
I'll tell you what the actions are going to be. A potential war just stopped in Iran. Just like that.
Yeah, but look how many people dying in Gaza.
Did I see your day 2 mention that? Day 3, this is fantastic? Oh, no. All that the media are interested in is bad news. Any good news is not applauded.
It's just that I know that
we had a strife in New Caledonia. We got hundreds of people out and 20 other nations' people out as well.
Well done.
Did I see any celebration of that? No, it's never. It's always a bad news story.
You've got about 10 minutes.
Oh,
so
okay. Sorry. The UN, these are important bodies, right? All these international bodies. And I'm just thinking too that David Seymour wrote to the UN official who was doing his job, I guess, and said, as an Indigenous New Zealander myself, I'm deeply aggrieved by your audacity in presuming to speak on my behalf of my fellow
I'm sorry he's withdrawn that letter because he had no right to write it.
Yeah, I know, but it's a bit rich, eh, that he wrote that, given you're the Minister of Foreign Affairs and a Māori.
Well, we all know that, but you people have sort of carried the narrative, and my answer to you is, watch this space and you'll be far better informed when it's all over.
The Prime Minister seemed to agree with him, so are you all on the same page?
Again, watch this space, and when it's all over you'll know what happens, and you'll be pleased that some people with experience do know what they're doing in this job, and that some people are learning and hopefully are going to be more improved in their future behaviour.
Yeah, no, I mean, you were all about diplomatic credibility, so that was a bit of a hoo-ha, wasn't it? So, ordinary New Zealanders, you talked to me about that last time, right? I just forgot to ask, who are they? Can you describe who ordinary New Zealanders are?
The ordinary New Zealander is the kind of person who understands what poverty tastes, smells and feels like.
Yeah.
Who know what the struggle is, who knows that if they make the sacrifice and the effort with a little help and a hand up but not a handout from the state, tomorrow will be better. And next year will be better. And their children will have a better life than they had. That was a promise of my grandparents and my parents. And guess what? They delivered. And I'm proud of that.
Okay, so it's not looking too good out there for a whole bunch of ordinary New Zealanders.
It never did
It has exacerbated since your government has been in.
Oh, I see. You came with a predilection that you're going to say what the outcome is, even though we inherited an absolute financial mess.
That's what the Prime Minister
No,
keeps saying.
I'm not saying it. I'm saying this with experience. I wasn't born yesterday. I'm saying we came with a massive borrowing program that was unjustified, no way of paying it back. Inflation was heading towards 8%. Everything was looking a total disaster, and they couldn't even put together the...
So you've gone back to what they did wrong. I just want to say we're moving on.
No,
You've been in power for 18 months.
Unlike others, I campaigned in 2023 when none of you would cover a word of my speeches, even though we're packing the horse.
No, please, I sat down with you.
Telling you all the situation is far worse than you people think. It'll be far harder to fix it. Only one party got it right, and you're talking to the party.
You railed against neoliberalism and the trickle-down theory, and there's so many people out there taking off to Australia. There's towns like Tokoroa where the travel agent is offering one-way tickets, cheap ones, so people can get out of here. There's 20,000 people who applied for a job.
People are having their OE 50 years ago, 60 years ago.
Oh my God, they're not going for OE.
Listen to me. We've heard enough of you.
Oh?
This interview's about what I think, not what you think.
I've got to ask you the questions. That's my job.
They were going there for the OE with one-way tickets way back then, all the way to the UK.
Oh, you've just twisted that one around.
As young people, they couldn't afford to get two-way tickets. You must have been from a very wealthy family. The poor ones like us have one-way ticket. To go work for a mining camp, work 11 miles underground. That's what we
The rich have got richer. The rich have got richer. The food banks are under stress. Homeless people can't get into emergency shelter because the criteria have changed. You know all that. But you were against neoliberalism.
No. Don't tell me that neoliberalism took us to that situation. Who was governing with no restraint at all from 2020 to 2023? For 3 years, they blew the whole economy out, borrowed like there was no tomorrow. ACT and National's great mistake was to not underestimate how bad it was. But it's not our mistake.
Okay, so it's all their fault. So you've been going on for a while. There's a whole bunch of new millionaires, people getting richer. How does that work?
It's a whole bunch of new millionaires.
Yeah, people are getting richer.
Well, we're not a bunch of pinko communists, because in the days of communism in Russia,
I'm ignoring that.
a general got 100 times more than a private. Because you wouldn't know that. That's the way it was.
Okay, one of the other
If you want to talk about separation of wealth, go to those countries.
You have said that when it comes to the Regulatory Standards Bill, it's a work in progress, right? You've said that. You're going to make changes, right?
Yes.
So, and the big criticism is that all past and future law will be measured against key Act principles. So what New Zealand First principles are missing?
Well, if you go and extrapolate slowly, phrase by phrase, your question, the answer lies in that. You began by saying what New Zealand First is going to do, and then you forgot all about it and talked about what you thought was the threat. Sorry, the two don't match.
No, so the core principles, what's missing? What's missing in that bill?
Well, what's missing is the truth from your question. And I'm not answering to lies. That is not happening.
Oh, the RSB. You're not supporting it.
Not in the way that you think, and not the way the media conceive it.
You're not supporting it. How come?
No, everybody knows that. Because when
What changes it?
No, listen. I don't know why I'm sitting here answering 101 questions.
Well, that's your
We
job.
said
That's
that
your
you can.
job.
We said you can take it to the select committee,
Yeah.
but we have these caveats and these codicils, and they'll still be there at the end of it, unless it's satisfactory. That's the situation.
So if
why are you rushing to judgment and talking about?
I'm not. I'm congratulating you on behalf of the thousands of New Zealanders who made submissions and are really concerned about the constitutional impact of that bill.
Well, with great respect to those people who made all those submissions, New Zealand First has been in this game for a long time, and we have certain fundamental principles we stand up for.
Yeah.
Not when it's convenient, not when it suits us, but because we're committed to them.
So if those
So
principles.
why are you worried or not? Why do you think for a moment we'd miss the point about this sort of, about legislation when it's wrong?
Oh no, that's good. No, that's good because people will be uplifted to know that you will stand on principle at the end of the day when it comes to this bill, right?
You know something? I spent more time spending my money and my time on principles and going to court all the way to the Privy Council at the expense of over millions of dollars doing it than all you journalists all put together. And for you to say to me that I'll stand up on principle, what do you think my life's been about? You show me where I've self-enriched myself. Taken a knighthood, taken honours, taken even an ambassador's job, all of which have been offered to me. And you have the audacity to ask me that question.
That's not being audacity. I'm just trying to do my job.
I just think you journalists are so damn frivolous.
Oh, how do
you
I
are
get-
so Scottish
Oh.
about your own money, and I've gone in there for hundreds of thousands of dollars, taking it all on against the world and won, and you think that I'm here just for myself?
I never said that. You're getting a bit triggered.
No, I'm getting triggered because your question infers with a great casual blandishment that some people in politics aren't there for principle and for what they stand
That
for.
is not what I inferred.
Well, I just thought that you said that, and that's why I'm
that is
responding.
incorrect.
And I'm not taking it from you or anybody.
It is
I'll put my
incorrect.
record up against the whole lot of you.
That is incorrect. I just wanted to clarify that you would, and New Zealand First would stand up for its principles, and if those changes aren't made to the RSB, you will withhold support.
I
Isn't that
cannot
correct?
believe I'm wasting my time in this interview. That is our
Why do
position.
you
That has
do
always been our
that?
position.
That's good.
No, you always knew that.
Oh, so I'm just repeating myself. You've already
you're
said
just
it.
wasting my
Okay,
time.
okay. My apologies.
I'm sorry, I should be smiling and trying to answer your question, but actually, my frustration of it is
Don't be
that
like
somebody
that.
walks into my room and asks me, "You're going to stand up for things you said you're going to stand up for," and my record is to do that like no other politician.
By the way, congratulations on getting $13 million across to Māori Women's Welfare League and the Māori Wardens. That was good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you must have put up a hell of a fight to do that.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, because
Not for the first time.
yeah, but
I
because
put the Māori Women's Welfare League on a separate footing way back, guess when? 1991.
bless. Their
I
niche,
supported
eh?
the Māori Wardens way back then. Who else has done that?
Yeah,
So I'm
but
just
it's
going to be
just, it's just that the environment that we're
I'm
in
not a
now.
modest person, but I'm not going to stand here and not recite.
I was congratulating you.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, because
It
in
took
this,
an extraordinary long time to interview to get to that part.
don't be titchy. Now, no, it's just because Nicola Willis has said what's good for all New Zealanders is good for Māori, and David Seymour has said targeted funding is racial profiling. So you must have gone humdinger to get that amount of money.
Look, when you hear people making absolutist statements
Hey,
that
it's
don't
crazy,
relate to
eh?
truth. No, but hang on, look, who was the person that went out? There was a Maori family that were dying of cancer. It's a serious one area of New Zealand, and they had a phenomenon, totally disproportionate cancer record. We went out, put the medical research into it, and found the answer to their problem. None of you even know about that, but guess who did that? And I can give you an example, Mount Hikurangi, West Coast leases. I can sit here all day and all night for the next 3 months giving you our record. But yes, again, for the umpteenth time, we supported the New Zealand Māori Women's League because they are a dynamic group.
They are.
And in time, they can get a greater spread, a greater reach for more reasonable funds, as can the Māori Wardens.
Yeah, but
I
I'm
just
just
would
saying,
say
I'm
better
just
understood.
saying, big shout out to you for actually securing that in a government where targeted Māori funding isn't exactly top of the pops.
Yeah, but when you say what's happened here is you've got these people who are absolutists in their views. If, for example, one group of our population has a propensity to get a certain illness, then that needs targeted funding.
Yes. Yes.
Not on the basis of race, on the basis of need.
Yeah.
Need is the
And
cause.
that's what we talked about last time.
Yes.
So Māori
I'm glad
had
you
more
remembered.
Māori required targeted funding, which is why the Māori Health Authority was set up, because of that need. And it's all gone burger.
No,
All gone burger.
no, you're going so far until you said that. When the Health Authority was set up, it was set up not on empirical evidence, not on any scientific research. No, just on the basis this would be a good idea.
But
No, we all know that. I can remember I was there at the time and I thought, hang on a second. If I go to hospital, I don't care who's delivering, who's helping me. I want to ensure that a person's qualified. I don't care what they
it was
are.
all about access. It was all about
no, they
delivering
took
on
they
need.
took a
And
course.
now you've destroyed
No,
it.
they took a
got rid
course
of
and put a
it.
racial profile around
No,
it.
no,
And
no. It's
let
called-
me just tell you.
Did you know
I'll
that?
give you one blunt answer. I've been to Maori health meetings. I've sat there talking to people who are grossly obese on the taxpayer's pocket. Their image to Maoridom is a disaster. We've got a tsunami of calamity coming down the road called obesity in the Maori world, and nobody's got the guts to call it out. I have, because I know no matter how much money we spend from the taxpayer, we can't solve it. But go down this pathway of a clever diet, the kind of thing that Ngata was talking about over 100 years ago, is as relevant now as it was then. As was poor Maori, the first person to take modern medicine to Maori. And Maori, the first Maori doctor, alongside 2 doctors at the time. Brilliant men. How come their message telling Maori you got to correct your own self, you've got to fix up your diet, is being ignored? And we're saying it.
How come you're ignoring the advice by Māori doctor experts now? There's a whole bunch of them.
Because too many Maori doctor experts haven't got the guts to confront their people and say, we can do all this thing, but unless we get you onto a sound diet, we are fatally...
Anyway, we've gone off.
No, we're fatally flawed. We cannot match European survivorship figures if our diet's bad. That's what Ngata was saying all those years ago, 100 years ago. Some of us read his books and studied him.
So we've got
he comes from your tribe, not mine.
We've got
That's
science
how important
now.
he was.
We've got science now. We've got data that supports targeted interventions, but they're all gone burger now.
No, you're trying to defend a system that was never going to work.
Anyway.
And I'm talking about a great era when a young man called Paul Maori
Yes, I know you've
took
talked
modern
about
medicine after Spanish flus and transformed Maori health. I kind of think he and Ngata knew far more about the Maori world than you do.
I think we actually, as a people, Māori have evolved. We've actually got some flash people here. Look at you. You're flash.
We don't use the word flash either, not in our Maori world.
Hey, by the way.
We don't use the word flash.
We do in Te Aroha.
No,
Hey,
you might, but we don't, okay?
you know when we're talking
we
about...
arrive before you
When we're
guys.
talking about ordinary people and ordinary Māori, are you and I ordinary? Are we part of that?
Well, I kind of think, I don't know if you understand, but I used to ride a horse to school.
Yeah, so are we ordinary?
I don't know. How many people are posturing around on taxpayers' back ever have rode a horse to school? Know what it's like to get up and milk cows at 4:30
No,
in the
are we
morning?
ordinary?
No, milk cows before work, before school, milk cows
Or are
after
we
school.
extraordinary?
No, I'm not saying anything of the sort. All I'm saying to some of these young Maori, you don't know what day it is when it comes to the lifestyle and sacrifice your parents made or your grandparents
I'm
made.
very well aware.
which
I'm
you
just
don't
trying
know
to figure
about.
out who the bad guys are.
Oh, well, you'll know who they are by the way they vote.
Why are you...
I know this interview is not going to help
Oh,
my campaign,
sorry.
but it doesn't matter.
What,
Because
why,
out there, the people in the real world understands.
why are you the consummate diplomat overseas and then you have these kind of tantrums in Parliament?
Well, give me an example. What tantrum have I had?
Give me an example. Moko, scribbles, having a fit
man,
about flags,
excuse me. Look,
haka,
look, some of us
use of Aotearoa.
understand the world when it was conveyed upon you the right to get a moko, to go and have a tattoo, and they're strumming out of the tattoo
That's
shop these
really-
days, making the claim half the gangs have got tattoos all over their face.
That's really
Don't you realise?
trivialises.
No, don't you realise how you've trivialised the very thing that we
You've
thought was special?
trivialised our
No,
people.
you're the ones who've done that.
You trivialised our
you
people.
you can stick to that and you can say it 1,000 times. You are the ones who are trivialising.
Who's you?
Well, people like you who defend that sort of thing.
Defend
say
people having
you say
moko.
to a young girl, you're going to get a moko if you feel like it. When was that in the Maori world? Any iwi I know ever allowed to happen?
You're kind of like stuck in the past there.
Oh, I
that
see,
one.
because you
Hey,
don't. Because you don't like discipline.
So
And yet, no.
Shane-
The real Maori world that I know.
You called someone a dickhead in Parliament the other day.
Is that a swear word?
Oh my goodness, I wouldn't have expected that from you.
Well, if the person is a total dickhead, I'm calling him one.
Well, why are you doing it? When you're overseas, you're so careful about what you say. And
Well,
here in New
of
Zealand,
course,
it's like,
There's no dickheads getting up and saying stupid things like that.
I can't believe you're saying that. So Shane says it's all about headlines. It's a bit...
Well, you're not looking, right now you're interviewing me.
yeah, I know, but I'm just saying Shane said
You
it's all
started
about...
with Seymour, you got you're missing everybody but me. That's what I'm sitting here
Oh,
for.
my
talk about.
goodness gracious. Now you're
The
getting
party
a little
called
bit
New
better.
Zealand First.
You once held all the Māori seats and now you haven't got any, so why would Māori vote for New Zealand First?
Because we have more Māori proportionally in New Zealand First than any other political party. However, despite our backgrounds, we are New Zealanders first. We don't spend all our time talking about our tikanga or our background or our pedigree because we are confident in ourselves and we've got a better future for our young people. That's what makes us different.
Would you work with Labor again?
Have a good look at Labor.
So that's a no?
No.
Is that a no?
So that's a no. It's not a question.
No, it's
You're
a
an
yes or no.
experienced journalist. So that's a no is a statement. And I'm here to answer questions.
Yeah,
Back to
yes
no.
or no? Yes or no? Sorry, I wasn't clear.
I'm not to come here to answer questions about the future. My job is to win the next campaign big time, and that's what we're going to do.
Your theme song, I've had it in my head. I get knocked down, I get up again. What will be your theme song as you head into the next election?
I'd love you to tell you that we find that if we share tactics and plans with anybody, they can't keep it a secret. They tell the whole world, and all of a sudden our competitors know. And so as much as I'd like to tell you, I have to tell you, you'd be most wise to go and tell your audience, stand back and watch, because help's on its way.
So, what about treaty? I've got a song. If you guys turn out to be a champion of the treaty, you can have one of my songs.
But I'm not trying to go to political oblivion. So give it to some other party, would you? That's the difference.
Thank you.
Thank you.